guys, today I am using my husband's computer instead of my phone because after 20 minutes my hand gets a little shaky. So I'm getting used to kind of how this looks differently because I've always done live videos on my phone. So if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Hi, Kristen Smith. If you can't hear me, tell me I can't hear you. I think I enabled all the things. Kristen, do you know if you can hear me? Can you hear me now? Hey, Rachel. Well, we'll get started. Today is a hot topic. Mostly because everybody has issues with parenting with our partner. And this was one of the first, last week I asked what you guys would like this week's topic to be, and several people talked about co-parenting, parenting and keeping a connection alive, and I've been parenting for 24 years. And with my first son, who's 24, I've co-parented but not been married to his dad. And that is for sure a different topic for a different day. I'm happy to answer questions about if you split with your partner. But today's topic really is about partnering and parenting together. And in OMamas, or one of the OMamas groups this week, we had a mom reach out that her partner, who is her husband, in her case, they have 3 kids, and all of a sudden she's kind of seeing this new side of him, which is pretty intense. And when he's tired and when the kids are, not going to bed, not doing what they're supposed to do, in my case, my kids never do what they're supposed to do, then he was like being pretty overreactive, she felt like, and yelling at the kids, and that was really shocking to her. So I'm also a counselor. This is what I've been doing since 2001. And what I would say is everybody comes from, this is my kind of personal experience working with families, but then my own experience, this is what my belief system is now, is that we all come from a family of origin. I'm going to try to get back in. I'm backwards for you, so it's hard for me to see. So there's a family of origin and a family of origin with our partner. And so think of those as circles. And in my family of origin, I have values, parenting, styles, belief systems, traditions. Within that is religion. Within that is experiences, what things we value, like my family spends money freely and we don't save, and we travel, and if we want a sofa, we buy it. In that also is traumatic events, how the family dealt with traumatic events, attachment and connection, and loss, and how family deals with loss. Then our partner has all those same things. So they've got a family of origin that functions in a completely different way than ours does. Sometimes similar, sometimes their values are, strong family values. But our partner had different experiences. Maybe their mother worked and our mother didn't work. Maybe their dad was really helpful and our dad didn't do anything. Maybe we come from 2 moms or 2 dads. And so all of us have this. I'm trying to get in the thing. All of us have this. These are our families of origin. And then we come together. And we are in love and passionate and decide on purpose or not on purpose to start a family, have a baby. So then what happens is all of this stuff that maybe I valued so much in my partner, that they come from a very different belief system, family system, educational system, that they then are parenting the way they know to parent. And that could be the same as their family or in direct opposition to the way that they were then raised. And then we're doing the same, that we're coming from like, my mom was the best, or like, whoa, my mom was intense, and so I'm going to be very not intense. And we're creating now, bonk, a family of origin. And so we now have a family of origin where we have family values, parenting styles, belief systems, traditions, and most of us, sorry, there's a bug. Most of us didn't really discuss what our family of origin was really going to look like. It could be a whole career, helping people decide how they were going to parent. Then we're tired. Then we have a bunch of babies, or we have one baby that cries all the time, or we have a baby with special needs. And oh my gosh, the most intense versions of our family of origins are now coming out. So the tricky thing is, when we are in this like, oh my God, I love this person so much, I'm gonna have a baby with him. I'm married or I'm not married. That we make this decision to become a family. And then we're tired. And then we're not spending enough time together. We're not often spending enough time with self-care. Or maybe one of us is doing a lot of self-care. You guys are our mamas, see so many issues with the partner. Generally, it's not us, never is going out with friends 3 to 5 times a week. And we as moms, like, we never could have imagined that our love would not want to be with us and our baby 7 days a week, 7 nights a week. And what I would say is everybody goes through that mess in the beginning. The problem is when it continues to be a mess and that we're not creating a family of origin. And so, you know, I'm over here doing all the parenting, all the housework. Maybe I'm working also in addition to managing the family, and I'm reading to the kids and I'm bathing the kids, and my partner's going to work and then going out for drinks, or my partner's going out for work and coming home and playing video games. And then it feels very unbalanced. And it's really hard when one of us is doing the bulk of the work. And then there starts to create a divide. So the divide happens when we are in one of those messes. So a mess could be anything. Let's just blame it on the babies. We have a baby, or we have a second baby, and I'm really tired, and the baby's not sleeping well, and my partner isn't connecting with me in the way that I need them to connect. I probably haven't even told them how I really need them to connect, if I was going to be honest with myself. Have I told them what I need, what my love language is? And have you listened to what theirs is? So I drew a picture. So if you can see down low, it looks like a contraction timer, the up and down and up and down and up and down. In my experience, mine, that my sex life goes like that. My adoration for Will also goes like that. There's times that I have energy and that I'm more interested in him. And there's times I think that he's more interested in me. The tricky thing is to not get stuck in the mess. So there's times that each and every one of us are going to not be able to stand our partner. And maybe not be attracted to our partner that day or that month. And then we start to feel like, ah, shit, this is it. We're headed in the, direction of the 50%. I personally think 50% of marriages making it is actually pretty good, considering that we come from two crazy different families and we can come together and stay together and work it out. The working it out takes time. I've been married for 18 years, been with Will for 20, and been friends with him since I was 16 years old, which means almost 30 years. So all that being said, there's been times that I wanted to put a pillow over his face, that he has said something or been not helpful when kids were being challenging. And what my partner does is he retreats when we really need to be doing some parenting, I think. He's like, let him figure it out. Like, let's just take a back seat, see how it goes, and then we'll kind of step in as needed. He's like a good midwife, move in and out. I for sure am way more involved. I'm a counselor. I feel sorry for my kids sometimes, like, oh my God, bless their hearts. So I want to work everything out. That's what makes sense to me, is what's going on, what's the origin of this, is this probably isn't really what's happening, it's causing this fight. And so we parent really, really differently. In the early years of parenting, that was really challenging because I wanted like my partner to be right here with me. Like, let's go in and do this. And he was like, I'm gonna read a book. I'm gonna do something on my computer. I'm gonna do the dishes. And I, in the early years, felt like my husband was not supporting me, not with me, really not parenting. And what I realized was his parenting style was just different than mine. It wasn't wrong. So my sex life did the same. That there were times that we were having sex daily, and there was times that we were having sex daily, but it wasn't great. And then there was times that we were like on the same rhythm, and it was really satisfying and felt like good balance. It took time for me to realize that it's a bell curve, it's a contraction timer, and that we're in kind of a lull where I don't really like him very much, or I don't really want to have sex with him, or whatever it is. But then it comes back. And so think of this. I need to think of my partnership as a whole and not a right now. That'll help. I know I'm looking in the wrong direction. Sorry about that. I need to be looking up. So think of the whole and not a now. And so have I had some ebbs and have I had some flows? When was the last time that I really listened, or that I was really listened to? Those are the things that grow our friendship and our partnership. So, oh gosh, hi guys. I don't really know how to work this computer. So some things that have been really valuable to me are just a few things. Mostly looking at my relationship as a whole, not a noun. And what is it that is causing him or her, in my case, it's a him, to retreat or to over-engage? So back to the very beginning, the mom that was reaching out, that all of a sudden her husband is, being overreactive, and he's been this like pretty laid back guy, and he's screaming at the kids. That even though we're exhausted, if we're grounded, generally we can see that this isn't about what's happening right now. So when we overreact, I'll give you a little psychology. A part of our brain moves into fight or flight. And so this is our thinking brain. Sorry, I'm just going backwards. I'm going back to the phone next week. That our thinking brain is like this. It's like a fist. And this is from my dear friend Hala Corey, my yoga teacher. That when we are overreacting, boom, everything goes haywire. And our primitive brain, I'm trying to use like not brainy textbooky words. So think of like we're in fight, flight, freeze. And our partner is being triggered. Often there's been a trauma, a loss, they're overwhelmed, under-rested, haven't had enough sex, something else is going on that causes us to react instead of respond. Okay. So when our partner is doing that for the first time or even regularly, that we can think, okay, what did his family of origin teach him? This is his mom, dad, aunts, uncles, cousins, the way he was raised, his religious belief system or not. That what did he learn growing up that's embedded in our cells? What's been going on for him lately? Has he been getting enough rest? Has he had enough time with me? Have we had enough time to listen and connect? And has he done the thing that is his resourcing? And so for me, I resource or I get grounded all by myself. That if I'm working hard, I've been at a lot of births, I've been giving a lot of myself to my children. I have 4 kids. I attend a lot of births. And then we support a lot of moms. And so I'm holding space. So if I've been holding space, but if I haven't had enough downtime, I come in with my guns loaded and I'm pissed off that the house is a mess and there's shoes here and nobody's done their homework. And I'm not really like, actually, my husband, if he's overdoing it, he retreats more. So my grounding time, or I call it resourcing time, is alone, on a walk, by myself, not even with dogs, like all by myself. I need nature. I need to hear the wind in the trees. Sometimes I drive to Shawnee Mission Park. If you're local, Shawnee Mission Park's great. It's got a big lake. Then I drive to a lake, look at the water. That grounds me. I take a bath, water grounds me. Get a massage if I can afford it, grounds me. And so what am I doing for self-care? And if I'm not doing those things, I can notice now that I'm like acting like an idiot. And so then we can also be aware of, oh, my husband's acting like an idiot. What's going on for him? What's missing from his life? Ask him. What triggered you today? What's going on? How is your sleep? What are you doing to get grounded? What makes you feel like yourself? I've shared you guys this so many times that I had 3 babies in 2.5 years, and my last 2 babies were not planned. I quit nursing on a Monday, got pregnant on a Friday. And so I had a 2.5-year-old, 1-year-old, and a new baby. And I was just really, 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 really exhausted and just having a hard time, like, God, the laundry is driving me crazy. And I wasn't working and I wanted to be working. And a girlfriend of mine took me to a yoga class. I'd never been before and I hated it. It was hot yoga. My milk came in during class and my shirt's wet and wasn't at all what I expected. But I came home and I felt like I came up from treading water. And I felt like myself. So I was like, something to that. And then I went back to another yoga class, hated it. My teacher actually was kind of mean to me that day. It's awful. But I noticed the same. And for a few days after my yoga class, I felt like Ashley. So yoga was it for me. Yoga is still it for me, but I also teach so much yoga and I own a yoga studio. And so sometimes getting away from the yoga studio helps me have more balance because there's so much yoga now. And so going to Shawnee Mission Park or taking a bath, being at home by myself makes me feel like myself. And then I'm responding to my children and I'm responding to my partner. So when we notice our partner or ourselves not seeming like themselves, easy things we can do, and we can practice this with them before it happens again. Orient. And so, like, where am I? I'm in my kitchen. When we're overreacting to each other or to our children, we are often not aware that we are in this time and this space because our brain is doing this. So we're trying to get our brain back talking to each other. And so this is a responsive brain where all parts of our brain are communicating with each other. Like, Ashley, that's just a frog in the house. You don't have to freak out and break a window. That's what's happening there. That this all together is like, what do I have to do? That frog's freaking me out. Maybe I need to get outside. Maybe I need to get a boy to grab the frog and get it out. Maybe those are just shoes. Do I really give a shit that those are just shoes that I maybe tripped over? Do I need to scream at my kid about it? Maybe not. So, number one, orient. Look around, notice where you are. This rocking movement, imagine like the movement that we do when we're holding a new baby. That is self-soothing. That serpentine movement of our spine helps us get grounded. Doing things with our mouth, like we're massaging our teeth, helps us get grounded, helps us stay in our body instead of spin out of our head. And then doing things like hugging ourselves, sometimes hugging like a squeeze. Yeah. If those things don't work, sitting on the ground and then doing them again. I'm okay right now. Are the kids okay right now? So when we're parenting and our partner is parenting in a different way than what we feel like is right, then we can help them orient. Honey, where are you? Ask them questions that are specific. Not what did you do today? Did you have a phone call today? Who did you talk to? Get them back in their present body, and then they're responding to what is actually happening. So it's like this is like a panic attack trick. So if somebody's like, oh, I don't know, like those damn kids, or they're overreacting to you, ask them a specific question. It gets them back into real time and space. And then we're responding to each other, and we're able to now react to what's actually happening instead of overreact to what's not happening. Okay, so many things. There's 11 comments. I'm going to go down and look at comments really quick. I think I am. Why can't I do that? You guys, I can't see your comments. Let me see if I can. So bizarre. Do I do this every week? Sorry. Okay, hold on one second. I'm gonna get a thingy. I think it's not working because I'm not using a mouse. It's not letting me go down. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Well, a lot of it's just love, and I appreciate it. Lindsay says, hey, Ashley, if one of you is injured and literally can't do as much, how do you help your partner see the whole and not the now? I might message you privately. Feel free to message me privately. And I think also just like conversation, that sometimes, when there's a new baby or a new injury or we've got an illness in the family, our capacity changes. So think of the word capacity. What can I handle today? I can handle a lot, actually. That I can run a business, I can attend a birth, I can make sure my kids make it to their events, or that they've got carpool going, and I can come home and have sex with my husband. I can handle a lot, most of the days. If I'm doing self-care, and if there's nothing specific going on. So one of my kids just had a big injury and totaled his car. All of a sudden, my world gets to be about the size of a nugget. That's all I'm doing. So everything else goes away. I don't give a shit about the studio. I don't really give a shit about my house, laundry, cleaning, dogs, nothing. All that I can do is this right now, take care of my baby. So if we've got something specific going on, our capacity changes from like, I can bring home the bacon and fry it up in a pan, to this is all I can do right now. I've got to heal, or I've got to take care of my mother, whatever it is. And that for this short amount of time, this is all I can do. So think about that and discuss it. That do we need to get help? I'm going to tell you, if I were to go back, as a single mom for the first 6 years of parenting with no help from Jake's dad. He saw him about one day out of 30. And I loved him so much, I thought. That I look back on that time that was so hard. And I also look back on the time when my babies were so little. Why didn't I ask for more help? Get help. If our partner can't rise when our capacity lessens, then we've got to get help. And Oh Mamas is a place to do it, you guys. Like, I've got this going on. Can you support me? We've got almost 14,000 members, the majority of them local. We've got 11,500 people that are active every single month. There is somebody in this community that can help you, that can take a little burden off. And I will tell you, I won't name her name, so nobody was like, hey, can you come get me? But there is a mom who's watching right now. She and her husband, when a mom was in need, went over and mowed their lawn, went over and brought them bags of groceries. What a relief. Like, we can do that. What can I do to help you? I can do something. So think of that. Hello, darling. I love you, Paula. I do couples therapy, Samantha, but I will tell you I'm not taking new clients. I kind of do couples therapy. I'm really busy right now, and so my wait list is pretty significant. There are many couples therapists in this town, and I'm going to share with you some information about it. We have 2 at-home holistic, Renee Herman and Claire Weimer. They're both on Oh Mamas, and they both are just like off the hook, amazing. Mandy Hubbard used to be at Home Holistic. She is now in Olathe, closer to her family, because she just had her 4th baby, but she still loves Home Holistic. She's really excellent. Resolve Counseling is at 83rd and State Line, and I'm going to send some information in just a minute about Resolve Counseling. That's where I go with my son, and they're amazing. And then there's also this really amazing, and I've been posting about it, Be Strong, and it is parenting support, mothering support, and then groups just for kids, groups just for moms. And Leah and Laura, their maiden names were both Probesco. And so Leah's Probesco Burns, Laura's Probesco, and I can't remember, but I'll post it. These are the resources in our community that are so powerful, that these are women supporting women and their families. That's what we do. Oh, hey, Whitney. I'm glad. And I'm going to tell you guys another story in a minute, that my parents, this Saturday have been married 50 years. I'm going to share some really important stuff. Sometimes, Kristen, like, I felt really guilty about leaving my children for me time. And so, like, what's something that you could do? Can you go take a 30-minute walk? Shannon Kinney, who's, she's amazing. She does personal coaching. She's excellent with mothers. She does a Free Spirit Life. And then we do Mindful Mama Movement together. We have a mother's retreat coming up, and we're going to talk about that too. That Shannon says that for her, as soon as her husband walks in the door, she gives him a high five. She throws on her jacket. She's out the door, and she goes for a walk. And she doesn't care if it's raining, snowing, thundering. She doesn't care. She goes for a walk because she goes and lets go of the crazy day parenting, because it's crazy. And then she comes home and she can connect with her partner, and she can connect with her children again. But if we don't have that, can I come up out of the water? Then we're not coming up out of the water, and we're just treading water. Going down. I'm going down. Paula says, we've learned to give each other a score of how emotional, physical, and mental. It's not a monopoly or on who's worse for the other person, but we appreciate where we're at. That really helped us through parenting with our challenges. And each of us have challenges, that we have really easy kids, but we've got a tough career. We've got really tough kids, but an easy marriage. That there's something that each of us have that's tough. And that just what Paula's saying is they're checking in. That like, man, you went off today, and to be really soft with ourselves. And to know that I can have an intense experience and not be guilty for it. The mom guilt doesn't work. So let's just all decide together today. We're making a pact. We're done with that. Hi, Janelle. I love you. Carolyn's on here, and I think that there's something really special about same-sex couples that that comes with its own set of challenges, and it comes with its own set of like benefits that women tend to be better at listening and supporting and understanding. And women all have hormonal fluctuations, and so I always am interested, like when Will and I are really struggling, what my same-sex couples friends, if they're struggling with the same issues, because so much of it is like this masculine model versus feminine model. And I really think that I want to write a book called The First Generation. I get to do it, you guys don't. I picked that term. And the first generation to me means this, that this is the first generation, ours, that we are generally both working. We are generally also both parenting. We are generally both also cooking. We are often both doing carpool, that we are, for the first time in American history, that we are co-parenting, co-incoming. And we don't have a model for that. We really don't. Like our dads or our second parent wasn't doing that. And whether we had a single mother or we had parents that were together, we generally our generation, I'm 45. I would say everybody that's having babies and up. We didn't have a two-parent co-parenting household. Very, very, very seldom. We didn't see it as a whole. And that wasn't valued. So think of that when we're thinking about our parenting, that we were parented and that we're creating really a whole new system that our children and their children are going to do better than what we're doing. We're figuring it out for the first time. I'm going to tell you guys a quick story and then we can do extra questions. So feel free to do as many questions as you want. My parents have been married for 50 years this Saturday. And they've gone through a lot together, as anybody would in 50 years. They were married, and 6 weeks later, or maybe 6 days later, shortly after my parents were married, my dad went to Vietnam. My mom wrote him letters every single day he was gone. He said he wrote her about 10 times. My mom also wrote his friends letters every single day that didn't have partners in the, here. So everybody got something as often as possible. I think about what that must be like to be newlyweds and your partner's gone in war. And then they had children. And then my dad had an affair, and it was a long-term. My parents were separated for a period of time, and without giving too much away, they chose to stay together. And my dad, when Will and I were struggling about 8 or 10 maybe years ago, I was really mad at Will. And I don't know that I was ready to divorce him, but I had part of the curtain pulled on closing the door to our marriage. And he just made some big financial decisions that really was impacting our family, and he did it without me. So I felt disrespected and I felt hurt, and we also couldn't afford the things he was choosing to do. So I was mad. And my dad put me in the car. So imagine my dad, he's the Marlboro man, literally. He's a cattle buyer, he's a cowboy, and he smokes a lot of cigarettes. So we get in his Suburban and we go for a drive, and he's tough. And he had a chin that was quivering and a tear that was so precious in his face. And he looked at me and he said, "Did you think it was going to be easy, young lady?" And I didn't even know what he was talking about. And I said, "What?" And he said, "Did you think it was going to be easy? Marriage." And I said, I did. That's why I married Will. And he said, "This that's happening right now is the for better, for worse. You think he doesn't know that you're mad at him? You don't got to tell him every day. You think he doesn't know that he's not providing well for his family right now? You don't got to tell him every day. You know what he needs to know? Everything's a mess. I fucked a lot of stuff up. But the one thing for sure is Ashley and the boys are right here beside me." It turned everything around for me. That instead of being like, like you gotta get your shit together, that it was like, what can I do to support you? And I never would have even considered it. Never, had my dad not made me get in the truck that day. So when my dad had his affair, my mom took every letter that my dad had written her while he was in Vietnam, and she put them in the fire. And she's regretted it so many times. So I'm in Emporia this weekend looking for a picture to put in the paper for their wedding announcement, anniversary announcement. And I find in a box of my grandmother's stuff that was like pictures of her parents and stuff from the 1800s, I found one letter from my dad to my mom. What a treasure. So I open it, and all I read is the first line. And it says, "My dearest wife, one thing I know for sure, I cannot live without you." So I went and gave it to my mother, and she said, I threw all those away. And I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm excited that I'm giving you this thing, that I know you have none. So she takes it and said she wasn't ready to read it, with me standing there. So I went and sat with my dad and said, I found a letter. And I told him what that line said, that the one thing I know for sure is I cannot live without you. And my dad is so tough, and he got all broken chinned, and he said, well, I still feel that way 50 years later. They've been through more than most of us will ever be through. And they had highs and they had lows that lasted too long. But the one thing that they did was they chose each other instead of chose to leave. I don't know. I don't know what the trick is. The thing that's the trick for me is remembering that we come from two different places. Thinking about, are my values the same as his? Can we come together and create a value system that we can both agree on? What are our parenting styles? That New Strong with Leah and Laura Probesco, New Strong will help you kind of decide what your parenting styles are if you're not sure, if you're just like going for it. Are my belief systems the same? What are the traditions that we value? Can we let some things go? Can we add some things in that sound awesome? And then what are the things that we really want to do? Do we want to save money and retire early? Do we want to take a lot of vacations right now and live life? What are the traumas that each of us have had, and have they been dealt with yet? If they haven't been, they can call me. They can call Resolve Counseling. They can call any of the counselors at Home Holistic, that we are all good at trauma therapy. That what is the way that we attach and connect? How do we deal with struggle when we're overwhelmed? Are we doing enough self-care? And then what's our partner's love language? I kind of hate that statement, love language. But for me, I want some alone time. I don't want more things to do. I got enough. And I want to sit and talk. Sitting and talking is not my husband's love language. His love language is getting chores done for me. And so there's less to do. So I come home, if he knows I've had a long day or a long week, that I come home to house is clean, laundry's done. Like he's like, I'm going to make things better for her. I could really give a shit. Those things aren't the things that overwhelm me. If there's dishes in the sink, whatever, I'll get to them. For him, he's like, look what I did. Did you see that? There's no mowing to do, that's his love language. And so what you can learn from that is the things that they're often doing are the things that they want us to do. And just to discuss, like when we're not connecting, what will help us reconnect? And we can help you with that. I'll help you with that. I'm going to go down a little bit more. Oh, Lisa Britton, thank you. I've had, since I've been doing these videos lately, so many moms that reach out that their baby's crying and can't get them to sleep, and then they'll play my video and their baby goes to sleep. It cracks me up. Oh gosh. Isn't that a sweet story about my parents? I know. I hope it's okay that I shared it. Okay, so I'm down at the bottom, and I love you all and love sharing this time with you all. Been on for 45 minutes. And so I can stay on a few more minutes if there's specific questions, or if I haven't even hit what you guys are really struggling with or need support with. Let me know. Think about this. Think about this. Each of us deserve to be treated kindly. Nobody should ever be treated cruelly. If we're being cruel or if our partner is being cruel, we need help. That's for sure. If we're being cruel to each other, if we're being cruel to our children, we need help. And there's such good help here. Like, get it. My aunt, she had like a lot of great one-liners. Like, if your bucket's not full, you're gonna go fill your bucket somehow. And so if you feel lonely or empty, we're gonna go get it full. Somebody's gonna fill our bucket if my partner's not filling it. Or I'm gonna eat to feel full, or I'm gonna drink, or I'm gonna, do drugs, whatever I'm gonna do. But we need to make sure that we feel like our bucket's pretty full. We also have a bucket that is a partnership bucket. And sometimes it's empty. And so what do we got to do to fertilize it and fill it with the good stuff? And then we're not filling it with disconnection, but coming together in a rational, reasonable, responsible, grown-up way. It's hard to be an adult. I'm going to tell you guys, there's some times that I just am like, man, I wish I could be my kids. Jessica Sexton, who's my literally life partner and doula partner, she and I say a lot, I sure wish we would have known us when we were having our babies. That I wish so much that when my babies were little and my marriage was young, that we got more support, that we really didn't have to suffer as much as we did. And I would just consider the possibility that there's really good support available here, but there's also really good support available in whatever community you're in. And I'm happy to help everybody find different support. And I'm exciting news, off topic, that I'm launching a membership group and some online courses that are coming as soon as possible. It takes so much work, you guys. And so there'll be more things like this that are courses, and also groups that you guys can be a part of where we can have calls together. And so we can do like group therapy calls. And it'll be a really, really low, inexpensive membership. So everybody can afford it and get some extra support too. Okay. Let's see what the new comments say. I really need readers on. Cash is asleep in the back seat. I was thinking, Kara, of you, that Cash likes my voice. Babies that we birth with, it used to blow my mind. Babies that we birth with that like hear our voice as one of the first few voices, always like come to mommy baby yoga or hear my voice somewhere, and they are just like, oh, and they'll just fall asleep in my arms. I can nurture them really easily. And I'm not that great of a baby nurturer. Only babies that like knew me in utero like me. That's a true story. But now it's like a thing. Like I could be at the farmer's market and babies will come over and like climb up my leg, and it's always babies that I birthed with. And sometimes I haven't seen them in years. Isn't that just so amazing? Yay, I know. Yay, membership group. You guys, it's going to be like so affordable and so cool. I can't wait. Like I'm so impatient. I just want to dive in and half-ass it so we can get it going as soon as possible. I wish Jennifer LeBeer is one of my like very best friends, and she's on these sometimes. Her kids are age 16 to 24. And so we've been friends since our kids were in first grade. So for 19 years, Jennifer and I have been friends. And our oldest kids are both named Jake. They played on the same sports teams. Her husband coached many, many, many things that my Jake did. They ended up being in the same fraternity at KU. So she and I got to like become college moms at the same time. But what's so great about my friendship with Jennifer, I wish that like her face was right here because it'd be funnier. She's funnier than me. Jennifer and I have been able to text each other, call each other, drive to each other's house, And sometimes the stuff that we're sharing is not great, that our college age kids made some not good decisions together and separately. And it was really overwhelming for us. And we got to really lean on each other during those times. And I think that that's part of why Oh Mamas is as successful as it is that you guys have somebody that you can text at 2:00 in the morning through Oh Mamas and say, is anybody awake? Or is anybody going through this? And we can receive some validation. But also Jennifer and I just had no idea what we were doing. No idea that when our partnership has struggled or our children are off, that we just say, like, you want to go to dinner this week? And if we say you want to go to dinner this week, we know our friend needs to go to dinner this week, and just really share everything. And it's just been one of the greatest gifts of my life, being able to co-parent and co-partner. And sometimes we need literally a village. Sometimes we really need another mom. Yeah. Hi, Channy. Oh my gosh, Carrie Gangle. I just was thinking about your birth this morning. My hips were hurting and I rocked back into child's pose. And I thought of you right before you gave birth. Literally just this morning, I was thinking that. So crazy. Shannon Farrell's my niece, and she's one of the best mothers I've ever known in my life. Welcome on here. Okay, guys. So I'm going to leave this live. Feel free to PM me. Feel free to reach out to me. These things I always think are going to take 15 minutes. We've been on for 51. So you can watch from the beginning, of course, if you want. And thank you for being here with me.